Hi. Okay, so I have cats and they all have the worst possible timing because whenever I sit down to record one of these things, one of them decides to go and use the cat litter, which is in the under the stairs cupboard just near from where I am. So a few moments ago, I set everything up, started to record, and then things got very uncomfortable. So I'm starting this again. I'm a little bit flustered because I'm actually being stared at by a lot of cats at the moment who want to be fed, but they're going to have to wait. My name is Catherine. This is not a channel about cats. Well, they do make an appearance, but this is a channel about cross-stitch. Welcome. For anyone who has seen any of my videos before, you know that these are generally chaos, so what can I say? For any newbies, I do apologise. I promise we do get to stitching shortly, and I hope you do like what you see. And if you do, please do give it a thumbs up, and if not, you're not already subscribed, please do consider subscribing. Whew. Okay, so forget the chaos around me. What have I said? Cat v Stitches. My name is Catherine. It's Sunday the 13th. It is around 7 p.m. I've spent the day at my parents', so I'm a little bit shattered at the moment because I've basically been doing all their odd jobs that they save up for whenever I come round. And please do excuse my voice. I've had a cold for the last 2 weeks. Not COVID, just a bog standard cold. So that's meant I've been bunged up to high heaven. My voice has sounded spectacular, and I'm finally coming out the other end, so I just have a bit of an interesting voice. But, you know, if that's all I've got to complain about, then I am one incredibly lucky person. I'm just going to say this now. I'm just going to get it out there just in case I don't know, but just in case I have any viewers who have access to internet and are watching this and are affected by what's going on in the Ukraine at the moment. Please know that my love, thoughts, prayers and everything else that I can send your way are with you at the moment. And that is anyone who is affected by this. Be it people in the Ukraine, be it people in the surrounding countries who have got nothing to do with this and are living in dread at the moment of what's happening as well. Yeah. I'm just so incredibly sorry for what's happening, and I just hope and pray that there is a peaceful resolution soon. But yeah, let's move on from that, and let's get on with things. So sorry, I have my notes down here because I have the world's crappiest memory, and if I don't write it down, then this will be even more shambolic than it usually is. So I will, as usual, give you a quick life update at the end of this, so that, you know, anyone who is interested can, if you want to, you can stick around to the end. And for anyone that's just interested in the stitching, we'll get straight onto it. So, whips, my works in progress. I've done a tiny little bit of knitting, and then I took my knitting to my parents today. Sorry, I've got a cat who's winding themselves around my legs here. I took it to my parents thinking that hello, do you want to come up? Sorry, one of my cats, she's looking like she wants to jump, but I've got piles all over the shop, so it could be a bit of a dangerous manoeuvre for her. What are you wanting? Are you wanting to go up there? Oh God. Sorry. I took my knitting to my parents, and I just got it out to actually work on it when I realised that the last 2 rows that I'd done were the wrong 2 rows. So I spent the time I was going to knit at my parents, undoing 2 very long rows. So yeah, that was fun. So there is no knitting progress to show, basically. But when it comes to my cross stitching, I have worked on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have worked on 9 patterns. So that's over the last 3 weeks, and that covers my whip go whip go choices from last week and sorry my whip go from last week and some of my whip go from last month and whip go from this month. So whip go, for anyone who doesn't know, is like bingo but with a W at the start. So instead of bingo, whip go. And it is, as everybody says, the brainchild of Jessie Marie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff. And it's basically a way of you to set goals throughout the year. Now mine has actually been a work in progress as to what I wanted to achieve with whip go. I haven't done this before, so this is my first year of doing it. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to pick a bunch of projects, new and old, put them down for 5 days worth of, to work on them for 5 days in the month. Some were on there just once, some were on there twice, and it was a mixture of some smalls, some ones I wanted to start, and some of my larger projects. And so I'd put, 5 days. And then I realised that 5 days is a lot when some of those days could be very long days, when really I wanted to stitch on something else, or it could just be I only had an hour on it and it was just working out. It was just too awkward. So then I changed it to 5 days still, but either 4 hours or 500 stitches with whatever comes first. So basically 5 sessions of either 4 hours or 500 stitches. That's fine. Well, then I wanted to change the actual projects that were on my whip go board. I've settled on wanting to concentrate on my larger projects, not necessarily new ones, but my larger projects that I've now already started stitching on, just so that throughout this year I can make sure they're touched. And then, oh, that sounded dodgy. I didn't mean it in a dodgy way. Just to make sure that I do some work on them, because I found that last year I had some projects that maybe had 1 or 2 days on, and so that's what I've decided I'm going to use the whip go board. So as of last week I made what I'm hoping are going to be my final changes to the projects that are on there. And then one other thing that I changed, so that when the numbers were called for March, and I can't remember what the actual numbers are, but I will tell you that one of the projects that was called was my Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. So this is that project. This is Kathy Barrett, and this is actually the third or fourth whip that I ever started. So there we go. And I absolutely love this. It's still one of my favourite project, and right now I'm going to say that I am, and I'm not going to apologise for the amount of times I say that I absolutely love this. Basically, I love all of the whips I've got here, and I probably will tell you that multiple times, so if you want to make a drinking game out of it or something like that, be my guest, but you'll probably be very drunk by the end of this. But yes, I do really love this. But what I do not love is the fabric that I chose to stitch on it. And sorry, no, I've said that wrong. There's nothing wrong with the fabric itself. I just don't think it was right for this project. Now, as I said, this is one of the first ones that I ever kitted up, and I didn't really know much about fabric at that point. So I chose an Ada, which nothing wrong with it being an Ada. I've got a number of projects on Ada, but I chose a 16 count, and it's either oatmeal or rustico, one of those ones. And this is what I've done so far. And a little bit there. And I have not enjoyed stitching it. I think it's too big. I just have not looked forward to stitching on it. I look forward to finishing the pattern and it being on my wall, but I have not looked forward to stitching it on this. If I'd have waited a month, if I'd have kitted this up another month or so down the line, around the same time as I was kitting up Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain, which is, sorry, this is Carriage House Sampling. I mean, I know it's Kathy Barrick and Carriage House Sampling are connected and blah blah blah, but Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain is Kathy Barrick, and when I kitted that up, I kitted that on 40 count vintage country mocha, and I love stitching on that, and I showed that in my last video because that was one of my that was a whip go project that was pulled in January, and I loved stitching on that, and I want to love stitching on this because, as I said, I love that pattern. So I've been going back and forth on this for months about, do I just carry on or do I restart it? And it all came to a head because, as you may have worked out, oh actually I may have already said it, sorry, it's been a very busy week as well as a busy weekend, so mind like mush, but this was called for Whip Go, and I honestly did not want to stitch on it, and that broke my heart, but that really made my mind up to the fact that I need to restart it. So I'm going to, and what I might do is just make a small or something out of, because that by itself looks cute, so what I might do is just bring this down here and make a small out of that and just have that. And then I've got this I can then use for some smalls at some point, but I'm going to restart it, and I'm going to restart it on a 40 count. Now I'm not restarting it yet, so that's the other thing I've done. I've swapped it off my Whip Go board altogether. It was on there twice, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish my Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain first, and when I finish that I will come back to this. Now I potentially have a fabric here that I'm going to over dye. It's a Swigart 40 count, and it's called Silver Moon, and it's not quite white, it's kind of got a little bit of a grey tint to it, but I'm really sorry about the lighting. I've just got my big overhead on, but I'm going to follow Mama Loves You GB. She recently did a quick immersion dyeing technique, and I think I might do it with some pearl grey Rit, and I'm going to do it on this 40 count, and I think I'll be a lot happier with that. So yeah, it smells funny, but yeah, so I've made that decision. You know, I'm a little bit, but I also know, I think it was a bit like when, so I've made the same decision with Night Walk Down by the Blue Flower. Again, a pattern that I absolutely adore, but I did that on 28 count, and again, a 28 count platinum, which is a great fabric, but I was just stitching on it and I was like, I don't like it for this. So again, I bought a lovely mottled pinky kind of fabric, 40 count again, and that I'm also going to restart. So I feel better now that I have made that decision. Like I said, that won't go to waste what I've stitched on here. I'll make a small from it and have it up at Halloween, and then once I've finished Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain, I will restart that. So that was the first thing on my Whip Go board, and that was the last change that I've made. So the other thing that was called on my Whip Go board was You Belong to Me, which is a long dog. So let me find it. It's in the very first one that's there. So This is in one of the bags I made myself. This is Laurel Birch fabric that I absolutely love, and by sheer accident, trust me, sheer accident, I got it to line up. Anywho, let me show you what this will look like when it is complete. There we go, Long Dog Sampler, you belong to me. So I have 2 long dogs on the go at them. Oh my god, I've got another cat using the cat litter. If any noise is picked up, I really do apologise, but I can't stop and start again. I truly can't, so I apologise. But anyway, here we go. You belong to me. So that's a long dog up there, that's Pilgrim. And this one, and that one was done using Mrs. Seda Silk Peacock, and this one I'm using DMC, this glorious pink, and it's 718. So now, because I will probably forget to say this as I'm going through my whips, where I have pictures of what they were like last time, I will insert pictures here. And yeah, so at some point now I'll have inserted a picture of what it was like last time I showed it you. And now it looks like this, and I really enjoy stitching on this. This is on 32 count vintage. Let me fold it first of all, and then I'll engage my brain into thinking what fabric I'm using. There we go. So that's where we're up to now. Now this has been, so 2 things go wrong on this. So first of all, there was the error from when you input it onto Pattern Keeper. So one of my lovely viewers pointed out to me, because I'd just been blindly stitching along and hadn't even noticed it, even though once it was pointed out it was very obvious. So it's how much my brain sometimes switches off when I'm doing this. For each page it cuts off 1 column. So what it basically meant is when I got to here, it cut off 1 column here, and then it does that all the way along. So I had done, luckily I'd not done all of this at the bottom, but I'd done the part of the bird that was after and some up here. So I had to frog all of that out. And then the other thing I've done is I have somehow managed to add an extra stitch here. So what I did, I worked across, done the bird, and then I did this, and then worked down here to start here, and added in an extra row here. Luckily, that's not that's not a national disaster or anything. I was already partway across here when I realised. So what I did is I was looking to do here, and no, sorry, I'd got around here, and I was counting how the difference between here, so I could do this bird, and I realised there was an extra line in there. But it's fine, all I have to do is make sure I take that into account as I'm working across. So that's what I'm going to do, is to make sure that everything is all, everything's all okay. I'm going to do this top layer first, just to make sure everything, this way across, just to make sure everything matches up. But I love it, and I think this is the fabric. Have I written it down somewhere? I'm sure this is vintage grey. Well, it is Dwygard, I know that, and it's one of their vintage ones, so I think it is smoky grey. I think it's smoky grey, vintage smoky grey, 32 count, and I love it. I think it looks great with this pink. So yeah, so that's You Belong to Me, and I've got 2 more sessions on this. So like I said, that's either 4 hours or 500 stitches each, so that'll have at least another 1,000 stitches on it. Okay, so let me just pop that bag in, put that back in here. Next, my other Whip-Go one is Lepidolite, and I know I've mispronounced that, but whatevs. This is, nope, that's not in that bag. Ugh, that's in this bag. This is a Heaven and Earth design, and when it is complete, it will look like, let me just show you what this will look like. Bring it up on here. Oh, you know, my back is killing me. Not a spring chicken anymore. My parents had me moving stuff in the garden. Well, let's just say, rather me than my 83-year-old mother. So, but still, it's like, Mum, can you not get somebody in to do this? And my dad's like, yeah, we have, you. Yeah, thanks, Dad. Okay, where are they? There they are. Who's that? Which, oh my God, they're just like circling me, I'm telling you. Look, you had a nice meal this morning, all of you. Behave. Sorry. So, there you go. That is what that will look like. It's coming off a little... No, it's showing the purple there. There we go. And that is by Elizabeth Welker. And purple is my favourite colour. And so that is just absolutely glorious. Now, I am doing this in a new way for me. I'm doing this using the parking method, using diagonal parking. I thought for this I'd give it a go and see how it went. And this is actually in a bag that I have just made. This is again using, well, sorry, this is a envelope project bag using the Vorna Pfeiffer tutorial. Holy crap, the third cat now going for the cat litter. It's like they're trying to punish me because I'm not feeding them. I am so sorry. Right, using the Vorna Pfeiffer, who is the Twisted Stitches tutorial for envelope project bags. I am not brave enough yet to do one of the zip project bags, so I'm doing these at the moment, and what I do is I put 2 buttons on, so if it's full, the top one fastens, and if it's not that full, the bottom one fastens, and I put some of these gorgeous Emma Carpenter badges on, and I just love this material, and the inside is that. Yeah. So yeah, oh yeah, so this was on my new sewing machine. So for anyone who is interested in the saga of the sewing machines, I had bought a, was it a Singer? It might have been a Singer sewing machine, and from the moment I had it, I had nothing but problems with it getting the tension right and all of this, and then I'd get it to work for you know, like one thing, and then not touching anything, I'd come back to use it again and it wouldn't be working. It'd be issues with both the tension from the bobbin, tension from the top, from the feeder. I had a friend of mine who's been sewing for years come in and have a look at it, and she was like, I don't know what this machine's doing, I think it's possessed or something. So I got it returned to Amazon, and that was a fiasco and a whole saga, but Amazon, God bless them, you know, they may be shit in a lot of ways, but you know, a lot of the time they just take things back. So I got the money back for that, and I bought one from John Lewis here in the UK. I bought a Brother, and I set it up and it worked perfectly. It worked perfectly. I don't work perfectly. I'm hoping one day I manage to master straight seams. It didn't seem to happen on this one, but I don't think you can tell. Or let's just put it this way, nobody's going to be looking at it close enough to see it. Yeah, so that's this project bag then. I really like these project bags. They're just very versatile. I've got about 5 or 6 of them now, and I've got some more. I've got another combo I can do. I've got a darker version of this fabric, and then I might halt because it's just encouraging me to start more projects. But anyway, I will insert in, if I've not already done so, a picture of what this looked like last time you saw it, and just in case anyone's forgotten, because I have just rambled on for God knows how long this is, Lepidolite, however you pronounce it, by Elizabeth Welker, Heaven and Earth Designs. And this is where I am up to now, using the diagonal parking method. So I'm basically, so I started working down the diagonal, then working up the diagonal, then down, then up, then down, then up. I'm not doing it line by line. It's not a very strict parking one whereby you just do one line or one box, if you know what I mean. For this, I'm kind of like, so for example, this is now working down this way. If this colour carries on down here, I will do till down here and then move on to the next one. So it's kind of a mix between parking and a more controlled cross-country. So for my other Heaven and Earth ones, I'm kind of doing more extreme cross-country, but I thought on this one I'd give it a go, doing a bit of a combo, and I am actually really enjoying it because there isn't a ton of confetti on this, so it lends itself to it. So I am enjoying it, and I'm actually getting through the stitches very quickly. So this, as I said, is on my whip go. I have done now, it would work out to 4 sessions because I've done over 2,000 stitches on it, but I probably will do a lot more this month just to see how far I can go with it. But yeah, so there's that one. Right, so next one. So those are my 2 whip go ones. Next is one of the ones that was on whip go for last month. Sorry, bear me 1 second. And it is another Heaven and Earth, so let me just bring this picture up for you. No, I don't want to rate you now. This is Mini Evening, artwork by the person I can never pronounce, so there you go. Like I said, it's Heaven and Earth design. And yeah, picture will appear at some point as to what it was like last time I showed you. And now let me find it. Oh God. Sorry, I did forget to say, for my other Haid, it's on 28 count easy guide. So it's gridded 10 by 10 squares, and I am doing it half stitch 2/1. And I'm doing evening exactly the same, 28 count 2/1, half stitch. And this is where we are up to. So I have done a lot of, I concentrated on here because I just wanted that colour to pop. And as I said, I've been doing this kind of extreme cross country, so let me show you. The back, as you can see, we're all over the shop with the threads, don't care. So I concentrated on here, did these trees here, the branches, and then now I've started filling in here. So I have started doing the stitches there, and I'll now start to work out here. So I'll just pick the next empty symbol and then just start filling that in. Now, though I do say extreme cross country, it's not as extreme as some people do it. So I have this in a Q-snap, and what is it? It's not the smallest. It's is it 6 by 10 or something like that? 6 by 10, and I will basically just limit myself to that. So all this stitching that's here has, in fact, you can see the mark there. It's fit within that Q-snap there. So that is what I stick to. So I know a lot of people, people like Crafty Emily, Stitching Mummy, what they will do sometimes is they will pick one colour, and Spartan Stitcher did this, pick one colour and complete that colour everywhere. I think they'll have it on scrolls, or sorry, the words just escaped my brain, but you know what I mean. So they'll have it on there, so it's easy for them to manoeuvre it. But I just have it in my Q-snap, and I just do cross country within that. And yeah, so this is on my WhipGo board a couple of times because I want to really progress this. And this is for, my dad was interested in seeing what this would look like. So yeah, so that's evening. So it has already appeared once on my WhipGo, but it is down on there. I think it might actually be on there another 2 times. This is in another of my homemade project bags. Okay, so next we have my Carolyn Manning. This is Amethyst. Yep, here we go. Get your shot glass ready. I love this one. So this is what it will look like when finished. There we go. So that's Amethyst by Carolyn Manning. It's part of the Shooting Star collection. I do have a couple of these, and my plan had initially been that when I got to 50% of this one, I would start the next one I'm going to do, which is, I think it was Ruby or Garnet, one of the others that I decided to do. And I did in fact start it on a stitch with me. I did a little bit. But then I had a rethink and thought, you know what, I want to get this Amethyst one finished because this is another one that I want to see up on the wall. And initially I had thought I was going to make a pillow out of it, but then I thought, you know what, no I'm not, because my cats will go crazy for it. And I think this is gorgeous enough that I want to put it in a frame. So this one I am doing on 14 count Ada. It's lavender. It's a plain one, so it's not over dyed. And I am now 81% complete on this. Got 6,000 stitches, well, just under 6,000 stitches left to do on it. There you go. I wish the colours were coming through a little bit more because it is so gorgeous and vibrant, those colours. Absolutely love it. Yeah, so I just have that to do now. Just under 20% to do. So I'm just, each week it'll come out at least once and it will get at least 500 stitches done on it. So potentially, it's generally a lot more than 500 that's done on there, and sometimes it'll be out twice a week and it'll come out as, you know, on a Saturday or something like that for a nice session. But I would like, before the end of April, for this to be done. That is what I would like. It's not a hard and fast thing because me and plans, when it comes to this, just, you know, I'm good at making them, but I'm even better at breaking them. So I'm just going to say it'd be nice if it would be done before the end of April, but I'm not going to beat myself up if it's not done. And I think this one, be it my first one, and because it's purple, which is my above all favourite colour, this one I'm going to frame. I'm not going to spend a fortune on it, but I already know what frame I'm going to do it in. It's just a plain frame that's going to be purple, and I think it is going to look lovely on my wall. So that is Amethyst by Carolyn Manning. Nearly done. Okay, so next. Okay, so this is my ink circles, the big red ship of life, and it is a big red ship of life. It is going to look like, and excuse the crumpled mess of this sheet, but this is another of my OG projects. There we go. Absolutely magnificent. I could have just got the reasonably sized red ship of life or the little red ship of life, but no, I went for the big red ship of life because at that time I thought these would take a day to stitch up. Now I'm not going to say mistake, but I also, when I kitted this off, didn't know much about all the different things, all the different variations of fabric you could do, and all the different sizes, and how by the use of magnification that I could use 40 count or 36 or 32. So sorry, one sec. So for this one I went straight for the 28 count Platinum by Zweigard, but I'm not changing this one because that is in 28 count, and that's an even weave cream, and I think that's magnificent, and I think this is going to look the same. Well, obviously it's not going to look the same because it's a completely different pattern, but I mean it's going to have the same kind of effect, and I'm planning on finishing it the same way. I'm going to see if I can buy some similar fabric to the blue and do that as a border, but obviously it's going to be red on this one. You'll have seen somewhere what it was like, and this is what it looks like now. So what I did was work more on the border. I think I've only got maybe 2 or so of these left to do, and that top border is done. This border here will take no time at all to do. That's a quick, not having to even think about it, stitch. Now, the colours I'm using on this are a mix. So the top is done in one of the DMC variation ones. Hello. Oh, sorry, Tabby's just come up to join me on the table. It is, it gets it out for you, 115. So it's that one. So it goes through red to black. So I'm doing the top and bottom border in that, and the rest of it I'm doing using a Silks for You gorgeous red silk number PR034. So that is what I'm using. Now I did have a crisis of faith on this one as well, because I was like, oh no, it's taking me forever to do the border. Do I unpick it and do it all in this? And I was having all kinds of crazy plans about it, because I was building it up in my mind that it's going to take ages, because that border is massive. I knew I didn't want to restart it because I love the way the body looks. I love the size of it. I think that lends itself to the larger fabric in my eyes. But the thing is I hadn't looked at this for a while, and I hadn't worked on it for a while. So when I pulled it out, I was pleasantly surprised about how much I actually really liked the effect of this border being like that. And to be honest, from when I first started doing this border to now, I have a lot more experience using variegated and doing pin stitch to start and to finish and all of that kind of stuff. So it's actually quite easy now to do that. And again, this is a very easy stitch because it's just a repeating pattern. So that is why I took the time to do the bulk of that. And as I said, I've only got a couple more of these to do here. So the next time I take this out, I will finish that. Then I will finish this to get it over and done with. And then what I may do is work my way down here and get the bottom one out of the way. Because I'm of the school of get the hard stuff done first of all. The stuff that drives you insane. So where is my piece of paper? Here we go. So what I may do is start working down here and then get onto here. Oops, sorry, it's upside down. I may just do this here and start down here. Now I'm not saying to do all of this in one go, but as I'm filling in this as well, for each session I'll maybe do one little torrent on that, so that by the time I'm finishing here or wherever I end up, I've only got a tiny little bit of this left, and I'm not going, oh my god, I've got all that sodding border to do. So that is my plan, and that is what I've done here. Is before I did some work here, I did a chunk of this up here, a bit of sweet and sour, so to speak. So that is Big Red Ship of Life from Ink Circles, and yes, I absolutely love it. Okay, let me just put this away. So this is not in a bag that I made myself. This is from Not Enough. Okay, so the place where I buy my bags I will put in the description below. But it's a lovely bag. This is designed for larger projects. It's got a nice big bottom, like myself. So it's got lots of uses. That came out. No, forget I just said that. Oh my god, really do forget I just said that, because my own dirty mind just took me to what that could mean. Whoa. It's a nice bag. Okay. Next. Oh, let me just put this in there. My ratty title page. Aha, the next one. Quiltify Designs, the Kraken. That is what it will look like when it is completed. I will insert what it looked like last time. And this is what it looks like now. There you go. Absolutely love it. There you go. So, I have finished all the ships. As in the ships themselves, not on the ships are all these people here. And the reason why I haven't done them yet is because I'm actually going to be doing them in a different colour. So let's get the formalities out the way first of all. This is on a witch hut. I think it's called Amazing Grace, but it's 32 count. I'm using the same colour palette that I used on the other Kraken one I got from Ink Circles. That was Get Kraken. So I want this to be an accompanying piece to it because it's very similar with the ships are in the same style. But what I've decided to do is the people I'm going to do in this colour, which is Oleaberry or something along those lines. I can't pronounce things, I'm crap at it. There we go, that one. And this is Gloriana, so let me just see if that will show up. Take off my pot and post it. Yeah, no, it's showing it a bit dark there, but it is a lovely purpley colour. So my three colours that I've used on here are, the Kraken is dark pink rose, the ship is Pacific dark blue, the ships are Pacific dark blue, and the boundary, and then we've already covered what the other thing will be. So I'm going to try that out. I'm going to try the people in that colour, see what that looks like. So I might do one of the smaller ships to see what it looks like and then take it from there. But again, this is another one where I've started to attack the border, so I'm not left with it. But again, as it is with Big Red Ship, it's quite a simple border, so it's mindless stitching and it really does not take long to do. So yeah, really like how this has come out. I just think it looks great. So that is Quiltify Designs, the Kraken, in another of the bags from, I think it's Not Enough Whip Bags, something along those lines. I'm really sorry, I keep getting that wrong, but it will be in the notes below. Put these back, because I'll not be happy if I lose them or one of my cats gets hold of them. Although saying that, my cats have been really good with my threads. I was very concerned that when I started this, that, you know, my cats would do a runner with my threads if they were ever left on a table or anything, but they just don't seem to have any kind of interest in them whatsoever. And they're hanging from a trolley I've got, and they don't even bat them or touch them. I don't know whether or not it's because deep down they know that if they were to do that, they'd get kicked out, or they're just not interested. Don't know which one it is, but they've kept away from them. Thank God, because I've got a lot of thread and a lot of cats, and that's a recipe for disaster. Okay, so next one in another from the same place that I can't quite remember and will be in the notes, but it is another lovely bag. There is the threading side. This is my cricket collection, and this is one plan that I have actually kept to. Hello, what's the matter? Sorry, I've got Tabby staring at me. So Tabby is my cat that has recently, let's go into this now then. Tabby is my cat that's recently been diagnosed with diabetes. Poor little baby. So she's been going back and forth from the vets every 2 weeks to get blood tests to check her levels to see if we've got the right amount of insulin for her. And we're not quite there yet, so the poor thing has got this permanent shave mark on her neck that she's not happy about. She is doing better and her levels are getting there, but she's going to have to go back in 2 weeks' time now to get another. Oh, baby, she's staring at me. I just feel guilty whenever I look at her now. She's going to have to go back in 2 weeks' time to get more blood taken to test. But yeah, but for anyone who has watched my previous episode, you know I was incredibly stressed out about how it was going to be with her giving her injections, because she's my one cat more than any of the others where I knew it could be an absolute nightmare, because she's a nightmare when she has to go to the vets. She's a nightmare if I have to do anything like clipping her nails or anything like that. And she's a bugger for hiding if she thinks that something's going to happen. Before I had her, when she was a kid and she had a bit of a rough start and she had to go to the vets a lot when I first had her. And then she had a really serious cut on her leg when she was out. She got it trapped somewhere and really seriously did it, so she had to have 2 operations on that. And so she's always been a bit skittish, so I was just dreading what she would be like, me having to capture her twice a day to give her this injection. But it's actually turned out really well. All I have to do is make sure the bedroom doors are locked so she can't get somewhere where she can get under a bed, and then make sure that the cat flap is shut. And then what happens is she eats, then she comes into the dining room, we do a nice little circuit of it, she goes into the kitchen where she can't escape, and then she just kind of goes, oh, just get it done. So I pick her up, put her on a counter, she has a little treat there, inject her and let her out, and she's absolutely fine. So that's kind of been the one thing that's gone better than I thought it would. Oh, and there's another of my cats there. Hello. This is Ruby. I don't know if you can see her there. So that's worked out okay, but we're struggling to get a balance with her insulin. Now, it was going to be a needlework convention, the Essex Needlework Convention. Well, it is next week, and I was supposed to be going, but I've had to cancel because I couldn't get her in a cattery at such short notice, and also they weren't, the one I did contact, the way it would have been a fortune, they weren't very happy about taking her while her diabetes wasn't under control, which is how it's classed at the moment. So I had to cancel, and the lovely, lovely ladies who organised it were able to get me a refund of it, which I am forever grateful, ladies. Thank you so much, Ellie, Teresa, much appreciated. I know that wasn't guaranteed, so it really was appreciated, but I'm absolutely gutted because I've been contacted by some of the people who were going, who I was, I would have loved to have met. So anyone, I know some people who do watch my videos are going, and guys, I hope you have an amazing time, and hopefully, all going well, it'll be done again next year and I can maybe meet you there. But yeah, I'm gutted that I'm not going, but it's, it's one of these things, you've got to do what you got to do, don't you? So anywho, let's get back to the stitching. as I was saying, this is one of the one plans that I have actually stuck to, which was on a Friday I was going to work on my cricket collection ones, whichever one I was working on. So I'm currently working on spring. So from this collection of seasons, I have already done winter and autumn. Plus I've done October as well. Now, when I showed this last time, one of the people who commented, a lovely lady, mentioned that she was also working on this, but she was finding that it was very pale, and it is. I mean, you can see from that photo, you know, especially the S and the G are incredibly pale on that yellow fabric. Now I'm using a Witchel that is a yellowy colour, and that is what it looks like so far. So I have done the SPRIN, and what I have done is on the S I have changed it. I've changed the colours. Well, slightly changed the colours. So it called for a very light pastel pink and ecru. But when I put the ecru up against this, it completely vanished. You couldn't even tell. It was just too pale. But I didn't want to use the white that was used on the birdhouse and the eye. So what I did instead was the light pink that was supposed to be used, I've used instead of the ecru, and then I've just taken a pink which is a shade darker, another pastel pink, a shade darker than the light one, and used that where the light pink should have gone. And that, I think, works. So I'm going to do exactly the same for the G. So the G, it's kind of a greeny colour, a very light green. So I'm going to use that instead of the ecru, and then I've picked out another green that's just a bit darker but stands out nicely against this fabric, and I think that should sort it. So the other change I did, so it didn't look too pale, was on these railings, whatever here, garden, words, fence. The garden fence here, this again should have been like that ecru, so I subbed it out and used this beigey pastel here instead. So I've kept with the pastel theme, but I've just changed the colours, tweaked the colours slightly just so they do show up, and loving it. So the spring cricket collection, and I've almost finished it. Yay! So this will join my collection, and then once this is done I will then start on summer, and then I'll have them all done. So I'm hoping maybe 2 more sessions, and maybe 3 because I've still got back stitching. Oh, there's nearly a bit of a fight behind me there. There's Ruby again. Okay, I'm not going to pick them up because I've got stuff all around me, and last time I picked them up, one of them nearly gouged me while I was in the middle of the video, and it wasn't a good look. So what are you moaning at? You'll be fed soon. Oh my god, they're not starved, so it's like, oh god. Right, so anyway, yeah, so spring cricket collection, and when this is finished I'll be doing summer. Like that. Okay, second to last whip is, right, this is my Plum Street one. This is Buzz Off. So I've got a couple of Plum Streets that I'm going to work through, but I am going to finish Buzz Off. First of all, I love Plum Street. I absolutely love Plum Street. I've got a number of her trio ones, you know, the animal ones, and I've seen her new one, which is, I think, Corgi Caboodle or something along those lines. Love it. I just love Plum Street, and I'm currently doing Buzz Off. I'm doing this using the called for fabric and threads, although the called for fabric, which is 36 count vintage beeswax, does not actually look like that. I don't know if it's they used a different fabric for this actual model, or because of the way they photographed it, or because of the dye lot, or whatever. Look at that. And then look at that colour fabric. It's actually a little bit darker than it's appearing on here. They are not the same thing, but it does not matter because I actually really like it. So picture somewhere of what it was, and this is what it looks like now. And that bird is magnificent. I absolutely love it. There we go. Buzz Off by Plum Street. The colours of that beehive or bee skep or whatever you call it, genius. So that, again, my usual thing of getting some of that border done, so I don't just have the border to do at the end. Those flowers have come out lovely. Well, that bird is just amazing with his little crown on. Just love it. So when I finish this one, the next one I'm going to do is Eat Crow, which is this one. And again, I've got 36 counts vintage beeswax to do this one on as well. I bought a piece big enough to do the two, so I've already cut it up and done some zigzagging around the edges, so I can just, and they share a lot of the same threads, so I will just jump straight onto this one when this is finished. Okay, just pop that in there. Last whip now is my Prairie Moon. Love it, love it. I've already done 2 Prairie Moons. I have done Stitch Night, which is the witch stitching at a table, and I've done Merry Xmas, which is the 2 skeletons dressed up as Mr. and Mrs. Claus with the Christmas tree, and this is Last Tango. It's just such a cool pattern. So, picture going up as to what it looked like last time, and this is what it looks like now. There you go. Yep, I'm digging it. This is on Picture This Plus 28 count Haunted. How cool do they look? I mean, just absolutely cool. So good. So good. The thing is about Prairie Moon though, they're not the cheapest of patterns, but I just love them. You've got to be confident with your quarter stitching though, because they used quarter stitches, 3/4 stitches, they used liberally throughout this pattern, but that to me is what gives it that amazing look. So yeah, this is done now. All of this is done. There's just a bit of back stitching to be done for her earrings, so now I'm going to be working on the sign, 2 signs and the judges, but the big bit is done. Now when I finish this, I have another Prairie Moon one that I'm going to do, and that is going to be this glorious one, and this is Zombies. So I have this one, and I have the Martini with the 2 Martini, the Martini Witches one, but I'm going to do this one next, and then that'll be it for the time being for my Prairie Moon. So I bought one massive piece of the Haunted, so I won't have any left after this. So yeah, so it's 28 Haunted that I'm using. But yeah, this is just fun to stitch on, because as it develops, it's just so much fun. I mean, those skeletons are just, they just come to life. I mean, I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, I understand that, but just love it. So anyway, yes, in my Lovey More Studio skeleton, I mean the book sleeves aren't they, but this is one of the large ones, so it's just the right size to fit this pattern in. Okay, so that is all my stitching. I've discussed Whip Go with you. I have a few more sessions left on my You Belong to Me and my Haid, and then I'll have reached my goal for them, and I've been, yeah, I've managed so far to actually hit my goals for January and February as well, so that's cool. That means I've got some good progression on all of those pieces, so even if I weren't to touch them again, I'll know at the end of the year that they've had a good, you know, a good run at, so I'll be happy with that. So Whip Go, I'm just going to finish them off, and I'll possibly do a little bit of extra on them. I'm going to do some work on Evening as well, and for everything else, it's, other than doing my cricket collections on a Friday, the others, it really is sweewee, you know, stitch what I want when I want. I just, you know, if I fancy doing Kraken, I'll grab Kraken. If I fancy doing Last Tango, I grab that, and I've got a couple of others in there that, although I've not touched the last, oh sorry, that was Sasha dive bombing the table. Although I've not touched them in the last 3 weeks, I do plan on touching them next week. Hello. What are you going to do? Sorry, she's near a pile. Okay, if you're coming here, there we go. Yeah, she's done a run up. She won't let me pick her up. She's like, I'm not your performing pony. Let me go. What are you doing now? Ignore her. Ignore her. Right. Okay. So, yeah. So it's literally going to be stitch what I want when I want. Once I've got my goals hit for Whip Go, and I know that I've progressed those projects on, I'm just literally going to pick and choose what I want. It could be that I just do 1 hour on one, or 2 hours on another, or spend, you know, a good couple of hours at the weekend on one. I don't know what's going to be happening at work for the next God knows how long, so I may get in evenings maybe an hour that I can do it, or may get a couple of hours, so I'm just not going to tie myself down to any big plans. That's why I radically changed my expectation for Whip Go, because I find that goal that a session is either 4 hours or 500 stitches, I find that very manageable, and, you know, I'm not going to say it was ever stressful, because obviously I can decide not to do this whenever, but I just find it more manageable and something I'm a lot happier to do. And as I've said, it will ensure that I do get good progression on a lot of those larger projects. So plans are just, you know, loosey-goosey things. Just if I want to make a plan, I'll make a plan. If I want to break a plan, I'll break the plan. Okay, so purchases. Again, this is another example of me breaking my plans. Yes, there have been purchases, because A, I was ill, and B, I was stressed out. So I did what any normal red-blooded person who looks at their bank balance and decides they have a little bit of money because they got a refund from the needlework retreat they were supposed to go for. So sod it, I'm going to use some of that to buy some things. So first things I bought were some Laurel Birch Mill Hill kits. Now Laurel Birch, if you remember, I have, if I show you, I've got project bags made up of her material. So it's this, I've got one that's, well, this one which is blue on the outside and the red one on the inside, and the other bag which is red on the outside and blue on the inside. And I absolutely love this fabric, and I love her aesthetic. And when I saw Mill Hill had some of her artwork in kits, I grabbed two from the two kind of, what do you call it when there's several of kits in the series? From the two series they have. So this is the first one. So this is basically like the cats on my bag, but it's gorgeous. And this is actually a fabric one. not a perforated paper. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 of them in the series. Now I'm not necessarily going to do all 5 because, for example, this one, the colours don't really call that much to me. But no, I think there's 6 in the series with this one. Sorry, 6 in the series with this one. But yeah, so that's the first one I got. So as normal, it's got the beads in there, and it's got, oh, there's Tabby. Hello, sweetheart. That's the one that has recently been diagnosed with diabetes, and there is a little bald spot is just under there. Oh, sorry, did you want me to carry on? There you go. Yeah. Okay, so yeah. So there's your thread and your beads and the material in there, which I'm assuming is going to be a 28 count lilac linen fabric. Oh, it's witchelt, which I'll use because it's a lovely, oh God, it's a lovely purple. Sorry, there's one of my other cats there. Hello, Amy. It's my little baby. And the other one is this gorgeous sun. Oh, sorry, glare. There we go. And this again is in a series, and can I show that without glaring? Is that going to focus? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Nope, don't focus on me, focus on that. Okay, so, but this is paper, so this is perforated paper, and as per, there's your beads and whatnot, and your thread. So those two just jumped out at me, so I bought them. And as I already mentioned, I purchased zombies, and as a treat to myself, I purchased the colours for the skin, which are Karen water lilies that are cheaper than I thought they would be, actually. Now, it said there's 2 colours for this. There's wasabi and guacamole, but to me they look exactly the same. Yeah. So for all the other colours, they are colours that I've already got from the 3 other Prairie Moons that I've now done. Okay, so I also bought this from Aury TM, a Gobble couple. Now I've got the witchy one that she's done as well, but I wanted this one for ages. So this is Frank and Elvira. I am going to start this one soon as my next Halloween, a smaller Halloween project, because all the other Halloween ones I've got now are big ones, are big boys. So I thought this would be really nice as a small one. The final pattern I want to show I bought a Bothy thread one. So this one is called Flight of the Bumblebee, and I just love it. I love tulips and I love bees, so I thought that this one was just absolutely stunning. It's normal, it's got the 14 count Ada in there, and it's got your threads. Now I do have another Bothy threads one that I bought ages ago from Amazon, which is this Practically Perfect one, and I want to start one of these 2, but as of yet I don't know which one, so it could be a case of just tossing a coin to decide which one I'm going to do, but that's going to be one of my next starts. And when I do start it, or this one, sorry, potentially it could be this Gold's collection I bought a while ago as well. But whichever one I do, I am going to put in my new project bag that I bought. You can tell I bought it and didn't make it myself because it's a fancy one that I couldn't even begin to attempt. Now this came from Patchworkpawprint. It's based here in the UK, and I think, is it William Morris? The this material is. It is glorious. Look at those birds. I mean, it is absolutely lovely. The workmanship on it is just stunning. And it comes with this for, you know, putting your threads on and putting bits of your threads on, and I've got this hook here, Notions pouch or whatever. Sorry, let me see what it's actually officially called. It's called a thread / floss keep. There you go. It's Patchworkpawprint, and it's the Morris Orkney Seasons fabric. And as you can see, they match, and I just couldn't resist because it was just absolutely stunning. But that is it now for project bags. And what's really funny is I've gone from somebody who was saying, oh, I won't be purchasing project bags. If I need one, I'll make one myself, or I'll just use these plastic containers here, to having a ton of them. So there we go. I think, so I have done my restarts, I've done whip go, done my whips, my purchases. Okay, so I want to tell you about this 3 things. This absolutely amazing TV series that I have just binged watched the other night, to the point where it was so good that I realised that for all the time I was binge watching, so this was on Saturday I watched this, I was only going to watch one just to see what it was like. I ended up watching all 5 episodes, did barely any stitching as a result, and that's how good it was, that it completely took me away from stitching. Horror of horror. It's a new Apple TV series called Severance. If you've watched it, you know it is just so bleeding good. It's basically well, at the moment it's all very mysterious as to what is going on, but it's a corporation that have basically figured out a way of being able to separate your work from home life. So when you arrive, you enter in, I'm not any spoilers here, this is all in the trailers for it and things like that, and the synopsis that's out there. It's basically when you arrive, you go into this lift or elevator, however, whatever you call it, and as you're going down, you've got a chip in your brain that activates, and you basically lose your memories of your outside life. You still have all your abilities, language, ability to work and all of that kind of thing, but you don't know anything about your outside life, what your name is, if you have a family or anything like that. And then you do your 8 hours at work, and then when you leave, again, as you're ascending, there's another thing that occurs, and the chip activates again, and this time you forget everything that's happened while you were at work, and you go back to being the outie, as they're called. So you just get on with your home life. So it doesn't wipe your memory, as in you will never know what your life is at home. It just basically separates it, and then all this mysterious stuff is happening at work, and oh my god, it is brilliant. It is just, for anyone that kind of like the first season of Westworld, or likes those kind of proper mysteries that are like so well acted. It's got Adam Scott there, who I've just always loved, you know, his serious stuff and his stuff in Parks and Rec and all of that, and loads of other, like John Turturro's in there, Christopher Walken's in there, I think it's Patricia Arquette, the younger of the sisters, in there as well, and they're all amazing. So unfortunately it is only on Apple TV, but even if you just subscribe for 1 month, or what is it, £6 or something like that, or for, you know, for a couple of months, or give it a couple of months until it's all dropped, I would seriously recommend this TV show because it is absolutely brilliant. So that's the TV show. And then there are 2 Flosstubers that I have recently found and have basically binge watched all of their videos that they have up. They're fairly new, as in the last year or so, and it is Crafting Kirsty, who's based here in the UK. She's just so funny and so good. And also FibreArts Amy, who is based in the USA and has the biggest collection of memorabilia that I have ever seen, Nora Corbett's, and she's she's been taking us from room to room with all her finished projects and showing all the whips she's got in the various rooms, because she's got so many of them that they're scattered all over the house, and they're just brilliant. And I just love her attitude towards it. I was like, don't care. I'm going to stitch what I want, when I want, I'm going to start what I want, when I want. And if that means I start all of these, then I start all of these. And it's just like, I love you. So anyway, I've really enjoyed watching them. So they're my 3 things. Book-wise, I just whack something on in the car when I'm going to work. So I've been listening to the Dollop book, so I've mentioned their podcast that I absolutely love. They've got one out about really weird things in history from America that is hilarious. I'm rereading listening to the Jack Carr book, True Believer, because Chris Pratt has made that into a series on Amazon, which starts in a couple of months, and I cannot wait for. But yeah, so that's what I've just not had much time with work, so basically I'm listening to audiobooks as I drive into work, and that at the moment is my reading. But yeah, life, work is work. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything else on that. It is what it is. I come home, do what needs to be done, and then decompress by stitching. So thank God for stitching. But I think, oh crap, I can't. Right, I'm going to have to go. I need to sort out their food. This has gone on for a lot longer than I thought it would. What time are we? Yeah, we're 8:10. I need to feed these cats. No wonder they're all looking at me. I need to give Tabby her injection. Look, I hope you're all as safe and as well as you can be. Again, my heart goes out to anyone who at the moment is going through it. Just, hang tough, do what you can. If you can stitch, stitch. If you can't stitch and you can't stitch, I hope you can find safety, and I hope, you're with your loved ones. And yeah, it's difficult to know what to say, so I'm going to stop bumbling around and saying rubbish now, and just know that I love you all. I hope you're all safe. Keep well, and yeah. Oh no, somebody's come to visit. So let's finish off with a cat that's been captured and isn't happy about it. So this is my old lady. This is Ruby. Ruby, are you? Yeah, no, you're in a mood. There you go. Show your face. There you go. This might be up tonight or it might be up tomorrow, depending on how quickly I can edit this jumble together. If you heard any of the noises of my cats, 3 of them using the cat litter, I do apologise. And hopefully I will see you in a couple of weeks' time. Happy stitching, everyone. Bye.